A man may be captivated by radiant beauty, seduced by sweet words, or moved by sacrifice. But all of those things are like a flame that flares up for a moment and then dies out. What makes him come back and stay for a long time is a silent magnetism, a feminine energy radiating from within, neither ostentatious nor loud, yet strong enough to seep into the deepest corners of his heart and make him unable to leave. Carl Jung, the great psychoanalyst, once affirmed that within each of us lies a journey back to the true self, a place where light and shadow unite as one. When a woman dares to walk that path, she not only transforms herself, but also transforms the man beside her. He comes back, not because he is held on to, but because next to her, he becomes a better version of himself. In this video, we will explore 7 special qualities of feminine energy in the spirit of Carl Jung. Qualities that create an indescribable magnetism, both gentle and steady, that not only draws a man in, but makes him long to return. These are not tricks to keep someone, but an inner journey of transformation, where a woman lives true to herself and naturally emits a force that makes love enduring. Number 1. Silent presence, the magnetism of inner peace. Have you ever met a woman who, simply by sitting still without saying a word, makes your heart calm down? They don't need to tell much. They don't need to try to impress, yet their presence feels like a safe space where anyone can breathe more slowly and relax more deeply. That is the power of silent presence, the quiet feminine energy that Carl Jung called the connection to the self, the center of being where mind and soul are balanced. In modern life, people are caught in a whirlwind of reaction, replying instantly to a message, snapping back at a rude comment, growing uneasy at even a moment of silence. Yet, it is precisely the ability not to react immediately that creates a different kind of magnetism. When a woman knows how to stay with her breath, to remain calm instead of swept away by waves of emotion, she sends out a silent yet powerful signal. I am steady. I am not controlled by the noise around me. Jung emphasized that the self is not the fragile ego always trying to prove itself, but the deep core within, the place where one can rest regardless of the chaos outside. When women touch that state, they radiate an energy field that makes men naturally want to lower their defenses. In a world full of competition and stress, peaceful presence becomes a rare treasure, and also the very reason why he wants to return. Imagine 2 scenarios. One woman sits across the table, anxious face, eyes glued to her phone, hands fidgeting non-stop. The man immediately feels her restlessness, and he too grows tense. But if she sits there, gaze steady, occasionally smiling softly, hands resting lightly on her teacup, not filling every silence with words, then that very quietness becomes magnetic. The man will want to stay close because it is the place where he feels free to breathe. I remember a story of a woman in her 40s who had gone through many marital upheavals. In the past, whenever her relationship grew tense, she reacted strongly, calling constantly, crying, arguing to find an answer right away. But the more she did, the greater the distance. longs for in a noisy world. But magnetism does not come from silence alone. A man may come to you because he feels peace, but he will return and stay long-term only when he realizes you show him a real human being, not a rehearsed role. And that is what happens when you dare to remove your mask. So, what do you think? In a lasting relationship, how much do you believe true connection comes from peaceful silence? Leave your number in the comments below. Who knows, your answer may shed light on the way you are loving and nurturing your relationship. Number 2, removing the mask, persona, returning to the true self. In love, many women believe that to keep a man, they must always be perfect, beautiful, gentle, skillful, never revealing a single crack. But the more they try, the more exhausted and estranged from themselves they feel. Carl Jung pointed out a paradox. What truly captivates others is not the perfect exterior, but authenticity, a soul living true to itself. Sometimes, daring to remove the mask is what creates the most powerful silent magnetism. We grow up in a world where everyone wears masks. Carl Jung called them persona, the social masks that help us gain acceptance, earn approval, and avoid being hurt. For women, these masks may be the good girl, the perfect wife, the self-sacrificing mother, or the sweet co-worker. The problem is, when worn too long, many forget what their real face looks like. A man may be attracted to your appearance or the role you play for a time, but what keeps him long-term is not the mask, but the true self. Because only the true self has vitality. Only it holds a magnetism no performance can reproduce. Picture a date. One woman keeps smiling, nodding, saying safe things so as not to offend. She looks perfect, yet feels distant, because the man knows he is conversing with a role. On the other hand, another woman dares to share that she feels tired today, or admits she doesn't like the dish on the table, not with criticism, but with gentle honesty. And suddenly, the atmosphere changes. The man senses, I am meeting someone real. And that is the moment connection is created. Jung warned, when we over-identify with persona, we lose touch with the true self. This leads to exhaustion, for we are living to perform. A woman may be drained from pretending to be cheerful every day while feeling empty inside. But when she dares to remove the mask, dares to speak honestly about her emotions, she becomes far more attractive, because authenticity has a contagious power. I once heard of a couple on the verge of breaking up. For years, the woman had tried to be the perfect wife, always smiling, cooking well, never complaining. But the more she tried, the lonelier she felt, and the more distant her husband grew. One day, she broke down and admitted she felt lonely even while living under the same roof. That was the first time she removed her mask. Surprisingly, instead of rejecting her, the man embraced her and confessed he too had felt the distance. That raw, tearful moment became the beginning of a new connection. A man will return not because you are perfect, but because you are real. For in truth, there is both light and shadow, both joy and fear. It is this multidimensionality that captivates. A painting of only one color is boring. A soul of only masks leaves no mark. But a soul that dares to reveal, dares to be vulnerable, is unforgettable. To live authentically, you don't need to expose everything. Authenticity does not mean telling all secrets, but allowing yourself to speak honestly about what matters. If you feel sad, say, I feel sad. If you need time alone, say, I need rest. That is not weakness, but courage. And it is this courage that creates magnetism no mask can. Authenticity is like a cool breeze in summer. A man, after enduring social pressure and all the roles he must wear, will come to you as a place where he can remove his armor. Beside you, he can be himself, without hiding or straining. And it is this rare feeling that will always draw him back. And when you are brave enough to remove your mask, you not only show the man a real person, but also give yourself a chance to breathe, to live. A man will remember you not for smooth perfection, but for the feeling of touching a vivid soul that knows vulnerability, that knows sincerity. In a world where everyone is acting, a woman daring to live real life becomes a rare light. That is why he comes back, not for the appearance, but for the authentic soul you carry. Number 3, reclaiming projection, taking responsibility for your own emotions. While authenticity helps women start a connection, to keep that connection from being worn away by misunderstandings and hurt, she must take a more mature step, learning to take responsibility for her own emotions. This is where the lesson of reclaiming projection arises, a core concept in Jungian psychology, and also a crucial part of the silent feminine energy that makes men feel safe to return. That moment changed their relationship. Reclaiming projection does not mean denying emotions, but daring to admit, this emotion belongs to me. When a woman pauses and looks within instead of throwing everything outward, her energy shifts completely. It is like wiping the dust from a mirror. Only when the mirror is clean can you see the other's true face, not a distorted image created by fear. In reality, this difference makes men breathe easier. When blamed, they instinctively raise defenses. But when they feel a woman is taking responsibility for herself, they feel safe. And safety, more than beauty or skills, is what makes a man want to return and stay. However, taking responsibility for emotions does not mean bearing all guilt or suffering in silence. On the contrary, it is the courage to tell the truth, but with a different attitude. Instead of accusing, we share. Instead of projecting, we confide. And it is this confiding that opens the space for mature dialogue, where both look back together, instead of turning each other into enemies. Within feminine energy, this is a profound quality: listening, understanding, gentleness, yet steadiness. When a woman knows how to reclaim her projection, she becomes a safe ground for a man. He can remove his armor. He can listen without feeling attacked. And that is the silent magnetism Jung called the path back to wholeness, not only for oneself, but for the one you love. So what about you? How many times have you realized you were not reacting to the present, but to an old wound? Are you willing to reclaim projection, to let dialogue begin from truth instead of fear? Try sharing, because sometimes your courage will inspire another woman on her journey back to her true self. Number 4. Embracing the shadow, gentle with the imperfect. Once a woman learns to take responsibility for her emotions by reclaiming projection, she soon realizes those emotions are not just temporary reactions, but deeper, dark fragments within the soul. And here awaits a greater lesson. Not to eliminate the shadow, but to step into it, face it, and embrace it. Carl Jung called this part the shadow, the place that holds everything we refuse to admit: jealousy, anger, selfishness, weakness, or fear of abandonment. Usually women are taught they must be gentle, patient, self-sacrificing, and when an opposite emotion arises, they rush to suppress or deny it. But what is denied does not disappear. It remains silent, and the more repressed, the stronger it grows, until it bursts out unexpectedly. A woman in her 30s once wrote to the channel saying she always grew angry when her husband came home late. At first, she thought it was entirely his fault for lacking care. But during therapy, she realized the anger wasn't just about him, but mirrored her insecurity from childhood, when her mother repeatedly forgot her while busy working. When she understood this, she began pausing to voice her true fear instead of attacking. Strangely, her husband no longer defended or argued, but listened and gently explained. She realized that facing her inner shadow opened a new path of connection with her man. But why is embracing the shadow so important in the journey of feminine magnetism? Because a man does not seek perfection, which is artificial and unsustainable, but he longs for a safe place where he too can be real. If a woman wears only fake gentleness, he will soon notice and feel distant. But when she is brave enough to admit jealousy, anger, vulnerability, yet with gentleness toward herself, he will feel, "Here, I am not judged." And that safety becomes the most powerful invisible bond that brings him back. In practice, women with silent magnetism often share one trait. They do not harshly judge themselves. When angry, they neither deny nor weaponize it, but pause to listen. When jealous, they don't attack, but gently admit fear. When weak, they don't feel ashamed, but allow themselves to rest. This gentleness with their own shadow does not make them weak, but instead stronger and more attractive. Men sense this energy and feel reassured because they too carry shadows, and with her, they can relax without fear of condemnation. Jung said, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." Feminine energy, therefore, lies not in eliminating the dark parts to be perfect, but in embracing both light and shadow with gentleness. Such a woman needs no proof, for her presence alone is enough to make a man want to stay. To practice, start small. Next time jealousy arises, pause, breathe and ask, behind this jealousy, what am I truly afraid of? When angry, write it down instead of unloading it on him, then reread to see the need hidden beneath. When tired, allow yourself to rest without forcing yourself to prove anything. Small acts, repeated, open a new space, where the shadow is no longer rejected but embraced and transformed. In the end, remember, men don't return because you are perfect, but because with you, they feel safe to reveal their own imperfections. Of Frida Kahlo, the famous Mexican painter. In her relationship with Diego Rivera, she endured much pain from betrayal. But Frida did not let that love erase her dignity. At times, she walked away, then returned under her own conditions. Frida showed that boundaries don't always mean ending, but holding on to identity, even in complex love. This reflects Jung's spirit. Wholeness appears only when we both connect, eros, and preserve inner order, logos. In everyday life, many women are learning to say no without breaking love. I once heard of a young wife who, after having her first child, was exhausted from trying to please both her husband and extended family. She didn't dare refuse, didn't dare say she needed rest, and grew irritable. When she began saying no, declining a family dinner when the child was sick, or asking her husband to share housework, something unexpected happened. He didn't get angry, but instead became more involved and attentive. Clear boundaries did not break love, but matured it. The man, seeing she cared for herself, wanted even more to share life with her. From a scientific view, boundary setting relates directly to nervous system safety. According to Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory, people only connect deeply when the nervous system feels safe. If someone keeps letting others cross limits without speaking up, the body stays in stress mode, prone to outbursts or withdrawal. But when we set clear boundaries, the nervous system regulates, no longer hyper-alert, but open to connection. For women, this is vital. When she says no to harm and yes to nourishment, she emits a calm energy that men find soothing. He no longer has to guess her feelings, nor fear sudden anger. This clarity makes him feel safe, and safety is why he wants to return. Here, gentle boundaries themselves are feminine energy, not noisy, not controlling, but powerfully magnetic. A man may be drawn to beauty, but what makes him stay is feeling respected and safe beside a woman who knows her boundaries. He is not consumed, not forced to play the hero at all times, but allowed to be himself. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Setting boundaries is how women return to their true selves, not the pleasing or burden-bearing version. When she lives true to herself, she naturally radiates magnetism. That energy does not beg or bind, but silently holds a man. Because he knows, only with her does he experience a love both warm and clear. So, if you fear saying no will make him leave, look again. Perhaps it is vagueness that makes love fade. Love without boundaries easily becomes a burden. But when you dare to say yes and no clearly, love becomes freer, safer, more enduring. A man doesn't leave because of your boundaries. He leaves when he doesn't know where the line is. And he returns. Because where there are gentle boundaries, there is true love. Number 6. Silent pride, knowing your worth without proving. After a woman learns to set gentle boundaries, she moves to a deeper level of maturity. How to keep that steadiness without chasing validation. Here, silent pride emerges as a form of feminine energy that radiates naturally, making men unable to walk away. Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." A woman who looks inward to recognize her worth no longer depends on praise or criticism. That awakening itself is silent pride, quiet yet magnetic, not showy yet irresistible. Such a woman does not need to prove her worth through words or loud actions. She remains calm in both praise and blame, does not compare herself to others, does not crave constant recognition. When she enters a room, her serenity and certainty alone create irresistible magnetism. A man realizes, this is a woman who doesn't need anyone to be herself, and that is what makes him return. A real-life story I witnessed was about a friend after divorce, facing social pressure. Instead of rushing into a new relationship to prove she was fine, she chose to invest in herself. Painting, yoga, traveling alone. When asked why she hadn't sought a partner, she smiled calmly and said her value was not defined by having someone beside her. That quiet confidence, not boastful nor loud, created a magnetic presence. Because she was full within, she became radiant energy, attracting men, not to save her, but simply to be near a soul already shining. In literature, Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice is a portrait of silent feminine pride, not wealthy, not powerful, but with unshakable faith in her worth. She refused safe but loveless marriages and stood firm against societal pressure. Her serenity forced Darcy, a proud man, to change. Elizabeth didn't need to prove anything, but her inner confidence conquered him. This perfectly illustrates Jung's message. When a woman lives true to herself, she doesn't need to chase anyone. They will find their way back. Jung saw this as transcending persona, the social mask. When a woman no longer lives for approval but for her true self, she becomes free. And So now we have gone through 6 of the 7 silent feminine qualities. Before moving on, pause, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, if no eyes ever praised me again, would I still feel proud enough to live true to my worth? If your heart whispers yes, write one word in the comments, proud. For the moment you affirm that silent pride, you radiate the very magnetism that makes a man not only cherish you, but long to return. Number 7. Nurturing presence. When he becomes his best self beside you. After a woman reaches silent pride, knowing her worth without proving, her journey doesn't end. Because love is not only a place where each finds peace within, but also soil where both grow together. It is here that a woman's nurturing presence becomes the most enduring silent energy, making a man not only return, but stay long-term. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." True love is not dissolving into each other, but 2 individuals growing together. And nurturing feminine energy is the catalyst for that transformation. That is why, when with a nurturing woman, a man often discovers parts of himself he never knew. He becomes gentler, more attentive, or finds courage to pursue an old dream. Her energy does not force, but inspires. Like a mirror, her serenity and trust make him see his own potential. This is not change to please her, but growth from feeling safe and seen. A nurturing woman is not one who sacrifices herself to be his backdrop, but one who listens, encourages, without controlling. She is like fertile soil. She doesn't cling to the seed, doesn't force the tree to grow fast, just quietly nurtures, trusting its life force. That trust creates safety for the man to try, fail, and then rise to be his best self. One woman, after a turbulent marriage, used to believe love meant molding her man into her ideal. She corrected every detail, his clothes, manners, even small hobbies, but the more she did, the greater the distance. Until one day, after a draining argument, she realized she was trying to love an imagined version, not the real man before her. From then, she changed, listening more, controlling less, encouraging every small step forward. Her shift slowly changed him. He became more caring and responsible, not from compulsion, but because beside her, he felt inspired to grow. Imagine a nurturing woman like a gardener in spring. A gardener cannot force trees to grow faster or flowers to bloom early. What she does is clear weeds, water, care for the soil, and wait patiently. When the plant stretches upward, it is its own vitality. Yet no one can deny the gardener's quiet presence created the conditions. In love, too, a man becomes better not from pressure, but because beside a nurturing woman, he is allowed to err, to be weak, to be encouraged to rise. This does not mean a woman must endure silently or only back him up. On the contrary, nurturing here is conscious, knowing when to listen, when to respond, and most of all, not controlling from fear. She does not use love as chains, but as open space for both to breathe. The man senses clearly that with her he does not need to strain to be worthy. But precisely because of that, he wants to be worthy. This is the beautiful paradox of love. When not forced, people willingly change. In reality, many men return to a woman not because she is prettier or more attractive than others, but because with her, they feel stronger, wiser, truer. They leave when love becomes a battlefield of control and judgment. They return when they realize there is a peaceful ground where they can grow without suffocation. Nurturing presence is therefore the pinnacle of silent feminine energy. Without shouting, without holding on, she simply lives that quality, listening, encouraging, holding space for growth. Deep inside, men always long for such love. And when they find it, they return, not once, but forever. A woman embodying all 7 qualities is like a candle quietly burning in a dark room. She doesn't need to proclaim, doesn't need to prove, yet her light is enough to guide herself and the man lost in the dark back home. Each experience, from silence, authenticity, facing the shadow, to pride, boundaries, and nurturing, becomes gentle layers of light that surround her, making her presence unforgettable. And if you ever thought magnetism lay in looks or words, this journey reveals something deeper. True magnetism comes from an inner self reconciled, from a soul at peace that needs no clinging. A man returns not because you hold on, but because he realizes that with you is the rare place where he wants to become better. Let these reflections remind you, you don't need to search outside. By returning to your true self, you are enough to shine. And that very light is the power that makes love always find its way back. If you feel these reflections touched your heart, leave a like so we know your companionship is meaningful. Have you ever felt someone staring at you without any clear reason? You're walking down the street, pausing at a red light, or simply sipping a coffee in silence, and then those gazes appear. Longer than usual, deeper than casual. You glance around, checking your hair, your clothes, your demeanor. Everything seems fine. Nothing strange stands out. So why? Why do you become the focal point in a crowd of strangers? This might not be the first time. This phenomenon may have followed you for a while. At times it might feel pleasant, but there are also moments when it leaves you feeling isolated, judged, as if you're too different to blend in. Carl Jung said, "This is not an illusion, not paranoia. It's a signal from a deeper layer, from the very psychic energy you're emitting, even if unintentionally." In today's video, we'll delve into the spiritual layers of meaning behind a phenomenon that appears simple yet frequently occurs. Stay until the end, as I'll reveal the signs that indicate you're radiating a unique energy compared to others, and what you need to do if you possess that energy. Number 1. The nature of human energy through Jung's lens. Not everyone can see energy, but everyone can feel it. You meet someone for the first time. They're not strikingly beautiful. They don't say anything profound, but you're drawn to them, as if they're emitting an invisible signal that you can't look away from. That's not an illusion. That's energy, a wordless language, a formless vibration that Carl Jung called the psychic field, crystallized from what we think, feel, haven't healed, and even the parts of ourselves we haven't yet touched in the unconscious. From a spiritual perspective, your elevated energy makes you stand out like a lighthouse in the darkness. Those with lower vibrations sense this light, even if they can't explain it rationally. Your presence evokes in them a mix of fascination and comfort, much like moths unable to resist a flame. According to Jung, the mind is not just a stream of thoughts. It's a living entity operating beneath the surface of what we consciously perceive. What we're aware of, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, is merely the tip of the iceberg. Below lies the personal unconscious, holding forgotten memories and unprocessed traumas. And deeper still is the collective unconscious, the repository of shared symbols and archetypes of all humanity. Each person is a doorway to the deeper layers of the world, and it's in those depths that true energy is born. Human energy is inseparable from psychology. Every emotion you suppress, every part of yourself you refuse to face, leaves behind a frequency. You might think, "I haven't done anything special, so why are people staring at me?" But that's the crux of it. True energy doesn't require action. It simply exists. Like light, it doesn't need to shout to be noticed. It only needs to be present in the darkness. From Jung's perspective, the nature of human energy isn't some mystical force floating around your head. It's an honest reflection of your inner world. Who you are when no one's watching, what you think when no one's observing, how many times you've faced or fled from yourself. And when you walk down the street, others sense it. Their unconscious touches beyond their control. A relatable example: you attend a party where you barely know anyone. You sit quietly, not initiating conversation, not showing off. Yet time and again you catch eyes turning toward you. As you leave, you notice those gazes still following you. It's not a sign of flirtation, it's an unconscious confession. They've sensed something they can't yet name. If this has happened to you, share it in the comments, as many others might be experiencing the same thing, and perhaps they can offer you new perspectives on this phenomenon. Carl Jung believed that each of us is not just an individual, but a link in a chain of psychic inheritance stretching across thousands of generations, a temporary embodiment of archetypes, the primordial images that have lived in humanity's psyche for millennia. These are profound psychological patterns, symbolic in nature, present in every culture. The teacher, the wanderer, the warrior, the healer, the divine child. These archetypes don't reside in consciousness, but operate quietly in the collective unconscious, guiding our emotions, behaviors, choices, and even the unconscious reactions others have toward us. As you embark on a journey of self-discovery, certain archetypes within you begin to rise more clearly, more powerfully, and leak into the outer world through your gaze, your posture, your speech, or even your silence. You're not trying to do anything, but others start looking at you differently because they're not just seeing you, they're seeing something familiar from the depths of their psyche. Imagine a woman walking down the street, her appearance simple, no elaborate makeup or flashy clothing. Yet each step exudes something powerful, unassailable, perhaps the archetype of the warrior. She doesn't need to say anything, but others sense it clearly. This is someone who has overcome something immense. They look at her, some with admiration, some with caution, but no one ignores her. Or picture a middle-aged man sitting quietly in a cafe, his eyes calm yet luminous, and for reasons unknown, people feel compelled to share their stories with him, even strangers. That's the archetype of the teacher or the healer at work. No signboard is needed, no philosophical discourse required. His mere presence makes others feel a trust they can't explain. Jung once said, "Archetypes are like riverbeds, which dry up when the water deserts them. They aren't roles we choose, but deep currents in the psyche, shaping how we live, love, suffer, and transcend ourselves." When an archetype within you is activated, often after a crisis, an inner awakening, or a healing journey, you naturally begin to radiate its energy. And that stirs the unconscious of others. Their gaze toward you isn't because you're special, but because you're unconsciously reminding them of something they've always known, something they once were. Because archetypes don't just live in you, they live in everyone. When you activate one, you become a living mirror for the dormant archetype within them. Sometimes, that gaze comes from longing, a vague yearning for something beautiful they've lost. Other times, it stems from rejection, defensiveness, because you make them see something they're not ready to face. Either way, you spark movement in their depths. And that's why the gaze lingers. Not because of your appearance, not because of your actions, but because their unconscious has been stirred and is grappling with information it doesn't understand. And that's the power of archetypes. They make you more than a person. They make you a living symbol. And symbols always draw gazes, not through appearance, but through the invisible resonance from the deepest layer of the soul across from you. Number 3. the origin of attraction. When you unconsciously embody a vibrant archetype, you are not merely a reflection of the collective unconscious. You can become the antidote to the spiritual energy deficit that society is trapped in. Your very presence, with its refined energy field forged through an inner journey, draws attention, not through the eyes, but through a deeper, nameless sensation. As we move toward the next truth, you carry something others have lost: presence. Jung once said, "In each of us, there is another whom we do not know." We are living in an era dominated by exhaustion, fragmentation, and disorientation. People are torn from their center by the noise of information, the pressure to perform, and the obsession with achievement. The result is a generation that lives without truly being present. No one listens to each other long enough. No one looks at each other deeply enough. No one pauses to feel what is happening within themselves. When you step into the world with an energy purified through introspection, through pain, through awareness, you carry something not everyone possesses: a quiet stability. It is not loud, yet it carries weight. It does not impose, yet it compels others to adjust their breathing in your presence. This does not stem from status, education, or social skills. According to Carl Jung, it is the inevitable outcome of a serious dialogue between you and yourself. Jung called this process individuation, the journey back to your always carries an energy that cannot be faked. Jung believed that everyone carries the potential for awakening, but not everyone remembers the way back. Thus, when someone truly lives authentically, without fanfare or force, they become a seed of activation, a living symbol that stirs the unconscious of others. The attraction you inspire is not mere admiration. It is a vague recognition. I once knew this feeling. I was once this kind of person. But I forgot. They cannot name it, but they feel it. And so they look at you, longer than usual, deeper than reason, because you've just reminded them of something vital they've forgotten: themselves. Jung called this the numinous phenomenon, when something touches the psyche not through logic, but through an intrinsic sacred state. You become a living symbol of a profound and honest life, something most people long for but dare not pursue. Not everyone recognizes it immediately, but like a drop of water on parched soil, you don't see the plant sprout instantly, yet the seed has been awakened. And that is why sometimes you are met with strange gazes. Some admire, some wonder, some are wary, but all of them are feeling something in you that language cannot capture. You are not just you. You are a living memory, a wordless reminder that there is another way to live, truly, freely, without burden. You don't need to be a teacher or a guide. Your authenticity alone is a quiet revolution, a small flame casting light in the darkness of forgetting. You may not see yourself as special, but it is precisely this lack of need to stand out that makes you unmistakable. The world doesn't need more fabricated role models. It needs people who live truly to remind each other of what we were born knowing, but forgot as we grew. If you feel others' eyes following you, if you sense you make them think, feel, or falter, don't shy away. Understand this. You are a catalyst for spiritual revival. You might the capacity to sense when someone is looking at you, even without seeing them directly. Surely you've experienced this. You're in a park, on public transport, or in a restaurant, and suddenly you feel a presence. When you turn, you find someone staring intently. This talent stems from sharp intuition and your connection to the subtle energies around you. However, this sensitivity to energy has a more complex side. There are non-physical entities that feed on negative emotions like fear, sadness, or envy. These dark energies cannot tolerate your light, for it represents everything they are not. For this reason, they may try to destabilize you, attempting to lower your vibrational frequency through stressful or uncomfortable situations. So, if you've ever wondered why others are drawn to you without understanding why, consider this. Perhaps you have crossed the threshold of pretense. Perhaps you have begun to live in inner alignment. You may not be perfect, but you are you. And in this world, that is rare, precious, and impossible to ignore. If someone senses this in you, they won't be able to explain it. They will only know to look longer than usual, because within them, something has just been awakened, and it is listening. Number 4, signs that you emit a different frequency. And in that moment, the world responds automatically. Not through words, not through introductions, but through very specific manifestations. If you have experienced the signs listed below, you likely carry an energy field that has diverged from the average wavelength of society. At this point, if you are ready to explore these manifestations with me, please comment, "I'm ready," to begin our journey together. The first sign. Others look at you with lingering, unexplained gazes. You walk into a cafe, a bookstore, or simply stroll down the street, and you distinctly feel eyes resting on you, not a fleeting glance of common courtesy, but a lingering gaze, as if they are trying to read you. They cannot look away, yet they don't know why. This does not stem from physical attraction. Those around you, though unconsciously, sense a difference, and the first reaction of their unconscious when the animals around you is not random. It is a sign that your energy is pure and harmonious, a true gift from the universe, deeply connecting you to nature and all living beings. The third sign. Strangers open up to you as if they've known you for a long time. Strange moments happen to you. A colleague you've only met a few times shares their family troubles. A stranger on a walk stops to ask your opinion on a major life decision, or a rideshare driver pours out their heart for the entire trip, as if you were the only one who could truly listen. This is not a coincidence, but a phenomenon of energy unlocking. You are not a therapist, you don't speak eloquent words, but the stability of the energy you radiate is something many crave. There is no judgment in you. There is no urge to fix anyone. And that neutral, quiet presence becomes a space where others feel permitted to be honest. In a society exhausted by defensiveness, such a permissive space is so precious, it cannot be overlooked. Jung believed that healing begins with accepting the truth within, and simply by being near you, many people unconsciously feel allowed to reconnect with their truth. The fourth sign. Strangers are often envious or hostile toward you. Imagine you are a lit room in a neighborhood still shrouded in darkness. Not everyone runs toward the light. Some shield their eyes. Others feel irritated because your light reveals the mess within their room, which they've grown accustomed to in the dark. Their first reaction is not gratitude, but resistance. You are not the problem. The light you carry is what unsettles them because it exposes what they are trying to hide. Carl Jung called this projection, where people unable to bear parts of themselves push them outward and attribute them to others. If they are envious, they call you arrogant. If they are wounded, they label you threatening. If they avoid their emotions, they say you are overly sentimental. Some reactions take the form of coldness, others of destructiveness. Someone might try to undermine you in a group, not because you are wrong, but because you make them feel small. Another might treat you harshly, not because you deserve blame, but because your calm presence reminds them of the storm within. This is when you must discern clearly. Their reaction is not an accurate judgment of you, but a result of mismatched frequencies. Jung pointed out that light not only reveals beauty, but also exposes fractures. Sometimes, your authentic presence makes others see the masks they wear, the desires they suppress, the wounds they haven't healed. The painful truth is, they don't realize this is happening. Their minds only know that something about you makes them uncomfortable. So they avoid, resist, or even attack. However, you don't need to change this. And you certainly don't need to shrink yourself to avoid unsettling others. The reflection you create may be a vital catalyst for their transformation, not immediately, but as a seed. You don't live to make others comfortable. And that truth, though it provokes reactions, is a precious gift. They may resist you today, but one day, when they are ready to face themselves, they will remember you as the first wake-up call. The final sign: you feel exhausted after interacting with crowds because you are constantly engaging in energy exchange. This isn't because you're introverted or socially anxious. This is one of the least noticed but profoundly significant signs. You haven't done anything strenuous, just attended a party, a meeting, or a trip. Yet afterward, you feel drained, tired, heavy-headed, emotionally empty, needing a long time to recover. This happens because you are engaging in energy exchange, constantly, unconsciously, and deeply. You sense inauthenticity, notice masked gazes, hear insincere words, and read the voids between behaviors. Your consciousness is perpetually scanning the environment, and maintaining your energy without being assimilated is an exhausting process. Those who emit a higher frequency than the norm always need private space to recharge, not out of weakness, but because they are more sensitive to misaligned, chaotic, or inauthentic energies. The exhaustion after social interactions is not a flaw, but a reminder that you are present on more layers than others. If you recognize all or most of these signs in yourself, trust that what you're feeling is real. You are not overly sensitive, not imagining things, not delusional. You are simply living at a different frequency, and the world is responding to it in its energetic nature. So, what is the next step for you with this powerful energy field? Before I reveal that, thank you for joining me this far. If what I've shared has sparked positive transformation in you, please leave a sign in the comments to let me know this journey matters to you. Number 5. What to do with those gazes? When others' eyes continually follow you, there are moments when you might feel like an anomaly in a familiar world. You begin to wonder, Is something wrong with me? Am I being too much? Should I shrink myself, slow my steps, live smaller? But pause and ask yourself instead, what are those gazes truly reflecting? Come from admiration, expectation, or even idealization. They look at you as if you are somehow higher, better, or wiser. And you may feel pressure to become the image they project. Do not fall into that trap. You are not a symbol. You are a real person. If you let their attention morph into an obligation to always be right, always profound, always exceptional, you betray the very thing that made you compelling, your authenticity. Simply continue being yourself and let others navigate their own emotions in your presence. Another crucial lesson is to protect your energy without extinguishing it. When you emit a clear frequency, you attract both beauty and chaos. Some will seek you out for warmth, but others will come to exploit, to lean, to unload burdens they refuse to carry. You cannot blame them. A strong presence naturally kindles hope in the vulnerable. But you can and must set boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish. They are how you safeguard your flame so it isn't snuffed out by aimless winds. For example, if after a day of interacting with others you feel drained, empty, or adrift, it's not because you are weak, but because you are giving more than you replenish. This is a signal to step back, not to hide, but to recharge the authentic presence you've been living from the start. Walk alone, journal, or limit time with those who only seek you when they need your energy. This is not selfishness, it is honesty with yourself, and Jung would call it an essential part of individuation. And finally, what you must do with those gazes is trust in the value of your difference. You are not here to blend in with everyone else. If the energy you create stirs something in others, whether fascination, curiosity, discomfort, or confusion, it proves you are living authentically. And living authentically, as Jung implied, is a revolutionary act in a world driven by illusions. The gazes they cast upon you are evidence that you are awakening forgotten life. Embrace your energy, protect it, and continue to be a beacon for those ready to awaken. Your task is simple. Remain true to your essence, keep shining authentically, and let your light touch those prepared to receive it. Accept this gift as a blessing, even when it feels challenging. What is essential is to practice techniques that maintain your balance, such as meditation, grounding, or using protective crystals like black tourmaline or malachite. These tools act as energy shields, allowing you to sustain your high vibration while engaging with the world. Nurture your energy with positive thoughts and time in nature. Walking barefoot on the earth, breathing fresh air, or simply sitting beneath a tree can reconnect you to yourself. The sound of the wind, the song of birds, or the feel of the ground beneath your feet reminds you that you are part of something far greater. Nature does not judge or demand. It simply accepts you as you are. By immersing yourself in that peaceful, connected space, you recharge your spirit and prepare to face the world with a stronger, higher vibration. You can also rely on techniques like visualization, imagining a shield of light surrounding you, protecting you from energies that might throw you off balance. Caring for your physical and emotional health is equally vital. Eating a balanced diet, staying active, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift your energy are essential steps in self-care. Your body is a temple, the vessel of your light, and when you nurture it, your energy flows more powerfully. These practices not only enhance your well-being, but also amplify your ability to positively influence those around you. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It ensures you can continue to be the transformative force the world needs. Keep walking as yourself, unhurried, unbowed, without shouting. Keep your energy clear, your presence sharp, and let their gazes find their reasons within it. You are not obligated to be understood. Your only responsibility is to remain loyal to your essence. And sometimes, that is the greatest gift you can offer a world sinking in forgetfulness. You've journeyed this far with me, which means you are no longer an outsider observing the phenomenon of those gazes as some strange mystery. You are living it from within. Carl Jung never called us to be perfect. He did not ask us to become divine archetypes or superhuman beings. What he urged was to become ourselves, holy. For only then do you cease to be a fragmented piece adrift in a noisy society and become a stable frequency, an energetic anchor that others can sense, seek, and sometimes resist, simply because they are not yet ready to remember they were once like you. Attraction is not the goal. It is the consequence. And those gazes are not something to handle, but to understand as mirrors of what you are quietly activating in others. You don't need to explain every reaction. You don't need to label or control others' emotions. You only need to hold fast to yourself. For your authentic presence, though nameless to others, is a silent reminder that there is another way to live, deeper, slower, truer. I sincerely thank you for